Very disappointing news coming out of PBC Promotions after Terence Crawford has been in contact with them for a potential Errol Spence unification showdown. The PBC responded with saying that there is no money for the potential unification match. No money for the fight that I'm pretty sure every single hardcore fan and any general boxing fan would tune into. Without a doubt, in my mind, the biggest fight and the best fight in boxing right now is Crawford versus Spence. Wilder and Joshua, that probably was the biggest fight a couple years ago. They've both been knocked out. In Wilder's case twice, in Joshua's case once, and he got schooled in his last fight. Fury versus Joshua is about to be a big fight. Joshua, not many people give him that much of a chance against Fury anymore. So where are the big fights? What, Beterbiev versus Bivol? That's not a bigger fight. Canelo versus Charlo? That's not a bigger fight. What? Andrade versus Golovkin? Charlo versus Castellano 2? Give me the bigger fights, PBC. Where are the bigger fights? What fight can the PBC do right now that's bigger than Crawford or Spence? What fight? Wilder just got knocked out twice. Wilder's never been a pay-per-view star anyways. Tyson Fury and the Wilder combination sold pay-per-views. Let's say Wilder comes back for a third fight against Ortiz. That fight would not make 100,000 pay-per-view buys. Quote me right now on it. It will not hit 100,000 pay-per-view buys. Because Wilder, when he was a standalone pay-per-view fighter, which was only for one fight against Ortiz, he did do 200 to 250,000 pay-per-view buys. But that time, he had the mystique of being an undefeated, power-punching champion. That's obviously not the case anymore. He's not undefeated. We've seen that guy take his power. We've seen that guy get dropped and get up to knock him out. The mystique is gone with Wilder. Wilder is no longer in talks to fight the top guys. Wilder right now, he's being rumored to fight Derek Chisora. Derek Chisora probably my favorite fighter, but we all know damn well Derek Chisora is not a world-class fighter at this point of his career. And you can make an argument Derek Chisora was never a world-class fighter at any point of his career. Or at least post his loss to David Haye, he's never been one. So to make the argument that PBC have a bigger fight or could do a bigger fight than Spence vs. Crawford is laughable. And they're not even negotiating. This is what's pissing me off right now about boxing. 2022 has been a horrible start to boxing. Every heavyweight is refusing to get into negotiations with Filip Hrgović, a prospect, a guy we don't even know if he's good. We've seen him lose to Joe Joyce in the World Series of Boxing. He has several losses at the top level in the amateurs. Why is everyone dunking him? I have no idea. Now, Spence is going to fight Ugas. I know everyone's like, we can't complain. He's fighting a unification match. He's not ready for Crawford yet. Look, if you're ready to fight Ugas, you're ready to fight Crawford. And don't tell me anyone is more intrigued in seeing Crawford versus Spence. Anyone's more intrigued in seeing Ugas versus Spence than Crawford versus Spence. No one is. So please don't come at me with that BS. We want to see Crawford versus Spence. We want to see Spence versus Crawford. Maybe you guys are going to get pissed off for saying Crawford first. We want to see that fight. Ugas can get the winner. I'm telling you right now. If all of you guys think that this is just going to make Spence's resume look good, and he's going to come back after an eye injury and beat Ugas fairly easily, I think a lot of you guys are going to be surprised. I think Ugas is going to pull up another upset. I really do. I think Ugas is going to shock Spence. Yeah, Spence has not been taking boxing very seriously. Spence has not looked elite since 2018. Ugas looked extremely elite in 2019 and 2021. When he beat Sean Porter, I don't care about the judges' scorecard. Ugas dealt with Sean Porter easier than Crawford or Spence did. Easier than Kell Brook did, easier than anyone did. He won 8 or 9 rounds and dropped him, was never in trouble. He dealt with him pretty easy. And he beat Manny Pacquiao wide. It was the same Pacquiao, had the same durability, has the same speed, the same Pacquiao that beat Thurman. and that started out to a huge start against Thurman. It was a close fight, don't get me wrong. I had Pacquiao winning the first 6, Thurman winning 5 in a row, and Pacquiao winning the last round. So it was a close fight when you fought Thurman. But he dropped him hard in round 1. And basically, when you win the first 6 rounds and a knockdown, you guarantee to win the fight. Then you close the show around 12, you basically schooled the guy. You guarantee that you beat him. And Ugas, I thought he beat Pacquiao 10 rounds to 2, 9 rounds to 3. Dealt with him easy. At no point in the fight you think, oh, Pacquiao's going to get Ugas. At no point. And Ugas had a bicep injury. Now, let's say Ugas is 100% healthy for Spence. I don't see how that fight, Spence wins it. I think this Crawford fight is more winnable than for Spence. I'm telling you right now, if Spence has no effect from the eye injury, he beats Crawford. He will bully Crawford. He's not going to be able to bully Ugas. Ugas is a very strong fighter. Spence is going to have to be... He would have to be against both fighters 100% sharp, but I just give him a bit more chance against Crawford. I don't give him a chance against Ugas. At least not a big chance. I see it as like a 70-30 in favor of Ugas, where I would see the Crawford versus Spence fight at 51-49 in favor of Spence. Styles make fights. I'd pick Crawford to beat Ugas, but styles make fights. I'd pick Crawford to beat Ugas, Ugas to beat Spence, and Spence to beat Crawford. Now, it's really a shame. I think, what's his name, the guy for PBC, the spokesman, Tim Smith. Yeah, Tim Smith says, fans will steal the Crawford versus Spence fight on pay-per-view. So let me read the article and follow this on Boxing News 24 by Alan Fox. Smith of PBC says the reason the Terence Crawford versus Errol Spence Jr. welterweight collection hasn't been made yet is based on economics. Smith believes that boxing fans won't purchase the Crawford versus Spence fight. Instead, they'll pirate and won't pay. The unbeaten welterweight WBO champion Crawford hasn't been built into a pay-per-view star by his promoters during his 14 professional career. Smith says Crawford will want too much money for the fight with Spence to be made, and the fans won't support it by purchasing it in high enough numbers. Economics. This is a quote. Economics. And you don't really want to insult a guy like Terence Crawford, who is a tremendous talent. And I'm not taking away anything from his talent. Tim Smith of Premier Boxing Champions, when asked why the Errol Spence Jr. vs. Crawford fight hasn't been made. So, what fight for the PBC in-house? Because Crawford right now, they could sign him to a 5-fight deal. They could sign him into, if you win, you have to stay with us for 5 fights. If you lose, get out of here. We don't want to see you again. So he doesn't just run off of the belts. They can sign him. What fight would be bigger in-house for PBC? In-house. I'm waiting for you guys to comment and let me know what fight is bigger. Because these PBC guys, especially the heavyweights, they're going to get exposed when they're fighting outside of PBC, a.k.a. Deontay Wilder. Deontay Wilder fought one elite fighter throughout his entire career, Tyson Fury, and he cherry-picked Fury. I know a lot of people are going to be like, how do you cherry-pick Fury? Fury went up to 450 pounds, was losing near 200 pounds when he was coming to the first Wilder fight. Not a single person, not even Tyson Fury's dad, thought Fury stood a chance. And Wilder got outboxed in a very slap way. Like, that fight was very winnable for Wilder. Go rewatch it. When you're just looking for the knockout from round 1 and on, you will get outboxed when you're fighting a guy like Fury. Then the rematch, he had no back foot game, and Fury obliterated him. He fought a bit better in the third fight, but still, same result happened. Other than rounds 1 and 4, you can't argue Wilder won a round in the third fight. You can make a good argument. And how many rounds? They fought 40 rounds? No, not 40, 30 rounds, excuse me. You can make an argument Wilder only won rounds 9 and 12 in the first fight, and 4 and 1 in the third fight. 4 rounds out of like 30 rounds. You just saw what happened to a guy like Luis Ortiz against the guy everyone criticized Joshua for winning against. Not for looking bad, for easily winning against. Charles Martin was beating the shit out of Ortiz before he got stopped. And it was like, Joshua said, it was like a punch from the gods from Ortiz that landed on the top of the head of Martin. So I'd like to know, what fight do the PBC want? What fight are the PBC interested in? Guess what? Spence vs. Ugas is not going to do big pay-per-view sales. No one knows who the fuck Ugas is. Let me just take a quick look at Ugas' social media following. And I won't be surprised if it's not much. Yordanis Ugas, 19,000 Twitter followers. 19,000. That's nothing. Now let's look at Bud Crawford. Terence Bud Crawford. 256,800 followers. That's not that much either for a celebrity. But guess what? That's at least 12 times more than Ugas. So obviously he has at least a minimal following. Crawford, I think in every fight he's had in the arena, he sold it out. He sells out fights in Omaha. It's not like no one watches him. Why don't you guys do the same deal you guys did with Fury and Wilder? A 2-fight deal. First fight 50-50. Winner gets 60-40 in the rematch. Why not? You know why? They don't have confidence in Spence, that's why. And they've been billing Spence as the top dog at 147. Even Spence's all of his best wins came against PBC fighters. Now, how do we even know those guys are the top crop, when they haven't been put in against? Like, Keith Thurman was billed as the best 147 pounder. The first time he fought, when Manny Pacquiao went into the PBC, he started picking apart their champions. How would we know these PBC fighters are good? Caleb Plant, their undefeated super middleweight champion, got the living shit beat out of him from a guy who started at welterweight. Make it make sense, people. Marcus Brown, their best light heavyweight. The second Beterbiev said, you know what, fuck this, let me start fighting. In round 3, he was looking for a way out. He took so much damage, it wasn't even funny. So look, I'm not trying to hate on PBC, but how can you defend this? I know there are several channels that all they do is defend PBC, and I don't know why. I don't know why any of you guys give a fuck about the promoters. Why do you guys not care about the fights? Who cares about the promoters? Fuck PBC, fuck Bob Arum, fuck Eddie Hearn, fuck all of them. Let's get the big fights. Fuck the promoters, man. I can't believe some people are fanboys of the promoters. How does that happen? How does that work? What do you guys get out of it? You know what we got out of it? We don't see the big fights. Right now, anyone could make an argument. Spence is number 1 at welterweight or Crawford's number 1 at welterweight. And they've been 3 and going on 4 years at the top of the welterweight division without fighting. And guess what? History will not look kind on Spence if he does not fight Crawford. Trust me, it will not look kind on Spence. Crawford still was ever since the Bernard Hopkins and Jermaine Taylor won it, the 4-belt undisputed title, Crawford was the first in 12 years, in over a decade, to become a 4-belt undisputed fighter at light welterweight. He will always have that. What will Spence have? Crawford was lineal at lightweight, was lineal at light welterweight. What is Spence going to do? Like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. Sadiq Boxing out.